Welcome to episode 2 of Learning Figma from scratch. In today's video, we will learn how to create this landing page.
Wow! Awesome!
Huh? What? You haven't watched episode 1?
Hey!
Poda! So this is the main section and I will name it as
landing. Awesome.
Now as I said, whenever the width or height is increased or decreased, the section has to be completely filled, right? So to do that, you have to go with the options over here, width and height. Now with the width, we have these options called fixed, relative, fill and fit content. There's no option over here as fit content because there's no content inside this frame, right? So fixed, you know what fixed is, right? Whenever the width is increased, the width and height of this child component or the child frame is fixed. And we have this option of fill. Fill is nothing but whenever the width of the parent is increased, this width will also change. It completely fills the parent frame. Awesome. Same we can do with the height. Fill. There you go. It completely fills the height too. But I don't want that. Yeah, the width has to be filled. It's good. But the height, you can assume that it is not completely filling the height. It is completely taking the viewport because this is a section. But how do I make the height as responsive? How? That's why we have an option in this height section called viewport. 100 VH is nothing but this height changes and fills the complete height of the viewport. Viewport is nothing but the height of the desktop on where the user is watching your website. So whenever I preview, there you go. Even the height changes. We have the scroll, but the endpoint is nothing but it completely takes the viewport. So that's about viewport and it is only for the height, no width, because width I can go with this fill. And if I want it to be like 50 viewport, it will be like half of the desktop page. There you go. So that's about viewport. And another one is nothing but relative. Relative is nothing but percentage. So this desktop is like 1366, right? And when you have given this landing page is 100%, so the width of this will be equal to 1366. Let me do one thing. I'll just change it to 1000. And I'll give this width as 50%. So when I give that width as 50%, the width is nothing but half of this 1000, nothing but 500. So I'll just show you how. Fixed, there you go, 500. So percentage, how much percent it has to be compared to this parent frame. So let's say I want it to be 30%. So preview, there you go. Responsive, same as fill, but I can give this percentage too. And if I go with this 100%, same as fill, right? And even with the height, I can go with this relative. If I say 100%, completely takes the height of the parent or the desktop. And I'll go with viewport, so 100 VH. One more thing, when you hit this plus over here, you have this option called maximum width, minimum width that you can add. Let's say the maximum width is like, so I'll go with this fixed as 400. So this 400 is nothing but the maximum width. So whenever I preview, there you go. No change, but it is responsive over here, but no change because we have given that maximum width. Now the foundation of this landing section is done. Super. Now coming to the design stuff that I have to add into this section. First thing first, I want this image. So to add that image, how you can do that? Insert, we have this media, image. Click on that. But I want an image from my desktop. How can I do that? For that you have to, I'll just increase this. For that you have to go to the styles. Inside that we have this fill. And fill we have this option called choose image. We have multiple options in fill. This image is nothing but a simple frame and you can choose an image if you want in place of this color. So over here we have this color. So this is nothing but a color, a solid color that you can change, right? And we have this color wheel, we have this opacity and this eyedrop tool that you can go and choose the color you want. And this is nothing but the hex code, the code which represents the color. And we have multiple options over here. We have this RGB, red, blue and red, green and blue. And we have this HSL, hue, saturation and light that you can change. But most of us will use this hex code. And styles. Wait, we'll talk about styles. Have some patience. And we have this gradient. Awesome. and I can change the color. Let's say I want it to be blue and this one to be red, and I can move this point, and I can add a point over here, a different color if I want at the middle. Super. Again, awesome. So that's about gradients. You know how it works. We have this angular gradient, we have this this is a circular gradient, and this is nothing but the angular gradient that you can check it out, and this is nothing but an image. So you just click on this image and you can just select the one you want, and there you go, we have this image. And now we have this type as fill. Fill is nothing but, so whenever I increase the width and height of this frame, the image's width and height is fixed. So it's like filling up the frame and also maintaining this height and width. So zooming in and zooming out, right? And we have this other option called fit. So fit is nothing but whenever the width and height is increased, no matter what, it makes sure the complete image is visible inside this frame. So there you go. And we have other option called stretch. You know what it is? The image, it does not zoom or zoom in, but it stretches out to like fill the width and height of this frame. And we have other option called tile. Tile is nothing but this image width and height is fixed, and the other space, the remaining space, is like duplicated of this image. So there you go. So at this point, the frame width and height is equal to this image's width and height, but if you increase this frame, there you go, duplications. So most of us will go with this file, and you have this position to the center, top left, there you go, top left. I'll go with this center, and we have this crop that you can just edit the image. So that's about fill. Now what I'll do is I'll just copy it from over here. So now I have this image, person image, which I'll be using in my design, and I'll just drag and place it inside this landing section, or I can just move it like that. And now this image does not have an option of relative, fixed or sticky. Why? Because this landing page has no rules to follow. So I'll just create a layout and make it organized. So stack, I'll go with this vertical because it doesn't matter, there's only one element inside this parent frame, and I'll go with this end. Awesome. When I just preview, kind of okay, but the gap over here is like a lot because we have given this to the end. So you may be thinking, it's simple, I'll just select this image and this is locked, meaning that if I increase this width, even this height is increased to the ratio because image, right? I don't want it to be stretched. So let's say I just increase the size, something like this. Cool. Preview, kind of more, so I'll just increase it more, and awesome. So I'll continue with this. But no, you know that person to person the desktop size will be changing. So width, yeah, it's good with the width, but the height, whenever I change, there you go. If the person's desktop height is something like this, gone, face is gone. So how can I do that? Instead of end, what if I go with this start and preview? Kind of cool, but the gap over here is still present over there. Problems. So that's where we can use this option called relative, the height, because the height, right, whenever it's something like this, it's okay, but whenever the height is of 1829, there's a gap. So I will go with this height as relative and say my friend take 110% height of this parent frame, and I'll give a padding of from the top about 20 so that we can have some gap over here. So when I preview, there you go, awesome. So no matter what the height is, this image takes 110% of this height, and there's some padding over here, so we can have some small space at the top like the 20, and the width, it is fixed because width I don't have any problem, I'll go with that. So there you go, responsive. But I kind of feel like when the width is of this much, there's a lot of gap over here. So if you have seen this portfolio website, when I just change the height, it is fixed, the width and height is fixed. So how do we rectify that? It's kind of complex, but I'm taking all the scenarios, so stay with me. That's where you will use your brain that you have not used recently. So what I'll do is I'll select this image. You, my friend, add a stack. So we have this stack right inside this parent one, and height I'll say fill, and width I'll say fill. Okay, or I can go with this fit content. Okay, it's good, awesome. And now what I'll do is I'll add a frame inside this stack that we have just created. And now what I'll do is this frame, width, fill, it doesn't matter, but the height, I'll say you go with the viewport of 5. Okay, so it takes 5% of this complete 100 viewport. Awesome. And I'll go with this space between. So you know what it is, right? This iframe will be at the complete top and this image will be at the complete bottom. The gap is like variable. So I'll select this image and I'll just increase the size. Let's go with about 900 and give it a preview. There you go. So what's happening over here? We have this image. It is complete to the bottom because we have given the space between, and this frame is at the top, and this takes about 5 viewport, 5%. So there you go. Whenever I increase the height to this much, there is nothing but the 5% of the complete viewport. Awesome, right? So I'll just select this frame and I'll give the opacity to 0. So it's not visible, but it's still there. So there you go. Awesome. Wow. I can increase it more if I want. Let's say I'll go with this 860, I guess. So there you go. Huh. Awesome. Next thing, the text. Right, we have this text as design it, and we have this person's name, which is like interactive or animation, this infinite loop animation, we have this stuff and all those things. So let's talk about text. I'll go over this pages tutorial, and to add a text over here, you just hit this text icon, and let's go with
design it.
And it's too small. You can just increase it like this if you want, or you can go with this text styles over here. We have this styles, we have this content, font, weight, color, size, and I can just drag to increase the size, and content. So you can just change the content right over here. Let's say hello. There you go, changed. Awesome. So this plus indicates like variables. So design it, it's good. And font. You can choose the fonts you want from all fonts, web, custom, Google fonts. I can just go with this Google fonts over here. Font share, open source. But I want like my own font over here. So then we'll go with this custom. You can just upload your font over here and use that. Awesome. So here I have this text. So font, I have given this newly great font, and weight, semi-bold or it can be bold. You can choose one of that. Color, you know what is. Size, as I said, it can be the one you required. And letter, nothing but kerning, that the gap between each letter, how much it has to be. 0 is nothing but the one which is perfect, and I can increase the kerning or decrease it. Yeah. And line. So line is nothing but when you have like lines. I'll just and type something else, and now I can increase this line. There you go. Line is nothing but for each line the gap from top and bottom, percentage, or I can go with this pixels if I want. And next we have this align. So what I'll do is instead of width as fit, I'll go with this fixed, and I'll just increase this. So this text can be center aligned or left aligned, right aligned, and you can see in this width and height we have this option as grow. We have this auto width. So this option is nothing but whenever the text is increased or decreased, the weight of this will change. You can see over here, right, 963. If I just remove this, there you go, the weight has gone with the 688. So when I change it to fixed, you see what will happen. This grow has changed to auto height. Now the height is auto, but the width is fixed. So let's say I'll just add more into this. The width is fixed, but the height is auto. So the text which is like lengthy will just go down. Awesome. And another one is nothing but fixed size. The width and height both are fixed, and I can give the value I want or lock it. So whenever I add a text, there you go, you can see this, right, it is fixed. And when I go on with this overflow my friend be hidden, there you go, visible, there you go. And there's an option called scroll over here for the text. You'll have this small scroll. I'll just preview that you can scroll. Awesome, right? We will use that. We can add this shadows, stroke to the text, or this paragraph transform is nothing but you can have this inherit, we can have this capitalized, we can have this uppercase, we have this lowercase. Yeah, you can give some transforms if you want. You have these decorations that you can give. You can have this balance, no and yes. Balance only works for a few lines. Oh, and one more thing, you have this font, right? So I can select this part of the text and I can give its own properties. I can go my friend UB italic. There you go. It is still a complete text, but you can just give custom styles to this custom text you want. Part of the text. You can also change the color for a part. There you go. Works on its own. So when I select this, we'll have this mixed because there's different, right? And one more thing I forgot to tell you. So single font, and now I can change this size to fit. So there you go. Yeah. Now whenever I change the width, the font size will be changing because we have given this fit, and also we can give the percentage or how much percent has to be fit. So let's say I go with this relative and you my friend be 80% to the center. Wait a sec. There you go. Responsive. Awesome. Now I'll just copy the text over here. Copy and paste. Oh, I don't want that to be in this image section. I want it to be in this landing page. Oh, what's happening? Because we have given this landing page as you my friend follow these rules, and this design it has this relative and image is also relative, so those will follow the rules. But over here when I just give it a preview, they're separate. It has its own position, it has its own position, and this is at the center. So that's where we will use absolute. So I'll just select this landing and I'll give it this horizontal. So I select the image, you my friend be absolute. You can have your own position and also follow this relative. So you go to the center like this. Awesome. And also I forgot to tell you about absolute. We have these options over here. Now in this absolute we can give its positions. Let's say from the left it has to be 0. Sorry, from the right it has to be 0. There you go. So let's preview. At this point also from the right it is 0. And nah, I don't want that. I want only from the top and bottom 0 and 0. This image has to fill this height, right? Because this height does not have fill option. So I have gone with this 0 and 0. So no matter what the height it is, this image completely fills because we have given this from top it has to be 0, no gap. From bottom 0, no gap. So now we have given this image as absolute, right? So it can be at the center position, and this design it is relative. It has to follow the rules that I have given. Awesome. So let's make it quick, and I'll just copy this stack over here. And now in this landing page we have this design it and stack. And one more thing, in the styles we have bunch of options. We have this blending, draggable, filters, image rendering, mask, overflow X, overflow Y, pointer, scroll bar, and selection, app color. Oh my god. So Z index is nothing but, let's say in this frame I want this image to be at the back and this stack has to be at the top. So for that I can select this stack over here, and in the styles I can add this Z index and I'll just increase the index. There you go. Let's go back to the original one. Now what I want is nothing but, if you have seen this portfolio website, these two are like complete to the end. So I can do that. I'll just select this landing and I'll go with you my friend B space between. There you go, and top alignment. And also if you have seen there's some padding over here. So simple, I'll just give the padding from top, let's say 100, and from the left I'll go with as 80. So awesome. Now when I preview, there you go, responsive, right? I mean this is responsive but not this, because for this tag we have given this, we have used this relative, and we also given this maximum width. Just used my design ideas I've got. What I'll do, again I'll just select this design and this tag over here and right click, and I can add a stack because we have this another stack over here as well. So change it to space between and top alignment, and there you go, voila, boom, awesome. And next let's make it quick. I'll just add this two stuff over here in 2 minutes. So there you go, just done some changes, nothing, just logic work. we have this stack over here, and I named it as top stack, and inside that we have this design and stack over here. So again I've given this padding from the left of this 80, and this landing I have changed it to vertical because we have this two stacks over here. Let's run through it. We have this top stack, inside that we have this design it, and this right stack. So we have given this left, we have given this space between, and we have this bottom stack with this text of Daniel Mitch, a random name, and we have this scroll down. And if you zoom this, how did I create this? Nothing. In this styles we have option of this border. If I select that, we have this options called the color of the border, and I can increase the border size to the one I want, or you can go with this individual border size. Let's say from top it has to be 10. There you go. We don't use that. We'll go with this complete border size, and style I can go with this dashed or dotted, double. There you go. And we have this radius, corner radius. There you go, 0, and some corner radius of 70, or you can go with this individual corner radius if you want. There's an option called visible. Should it be visible? No, it's gone. So if I select that, it's not relative, like it's deleted, but it is still there. So yes, I'll go with yes, it has to be visible. There you go. We have this top stack, we have this bottom stack, and landing page we have gone with this vertical because two stacks, right? Top and bottom. So I've gone with this space between, responsive, and I've gone with this padding from top and bottom as well if I want, or I can keep it 0 if I don't want, but let me give some. Why not? How it's responsive? First thing, we have gone with the space between. So whenever the height is increased or decreased. So that's the introduction. We have learned this layout. We have learned this positioning of this relative, absolute, fixed, and sticky. We learned about this fixed, relative, fill and fit content. We also learned some styles, how to use this layout section, use this tag, make them responsive. And in the next video, let's talk about components. With the components, you can create this landing animation, this micro interactions, and all those things. Also, we'll cover the topic of styles that you have seen everywhere, right? You can create styles for color, text, and all those things. So subscribe. In the next chapter, we'll learn about micro interactions and landing animations using components and variants. So until then, peace.